Taxi driver charged with attempted murder, remanded to prison. Navindra Lachman, also known as Rocky, a 28-year-old taxi driver from Queenstown, Essequibo Coast, has been charged with the offense of attempt to commit murder. The charge stems from an incident involving Akila Maynard and was brought under Section 103(c) of the Criminal Law, Offences, Act, Chapter 801. Lachman was arrested on October 15, 2024, and appeared before Magistrate Tamika Clark at the Charity Magistrates Court today, October 21, 2024, where the charge was formally read to him. The accused was not required to enter a plea and has been remanded to prison. His next court appearance is scheduled for November 7, 2024. The case is ongoing, and further updates will be provided as investigations progress. Police arrest 2 armed bandits after shooting and robbing BetterHope businessman. Third suspect remains at large. Police have apprehended 2 suspects following an armed robbery and shooting at the Ocean View Hotel in BetterHope, East Coast Demerara, late Monday night. A third suspect remains at large as investigations continue into the violent crime, which left a 56-year-old businessman nursing a gunshot wound. The incident occurred around 8:20 p.m. when the businessman, who also operates a hotel and bar at the Ocean View Hotel, was conducting business. He was confronted by 3 unmasked men armed with handguns. The suspects held him at gunpoint, forcibly leading him from the bar to his adjoining home, where they demanded money and jewelry. When the businessman resisted, one of the assailants shot him in the abdomen. The robbers then fled the scene on foot with an undisclosed amount of cash and jewelry. The victim was rushed to a private city hospital, where he remains in stable condition. Suspects apprehended, firearms recovered. Acting on information received, the police swiftly responded and arrested 2 suspects in Industry, East Coast Demerara, just 40 minutes after the robbery. The suspects were identified as Winston Harris, a 35-year-old resident of Lot 351 BB Eccles, East Bank Demerara, and Dexter Simon, a 38-year-old from Lot 54 Russell Street, Charlestown, Georgetown. During the arrest, police found a .32 revolver with 5 live rounds, 2 Samsung cell phones, and a toy gun in a black haversack belonging to Simon. Third suspect on the run. The arrested suspects revealed the identity of the third accomplice, Kevin. Police pursued him in the Ogle Old Road area, but he managed to escape after dropping a .38 revolver and 2 live rounds. Authorities continue their search for the fugitive. None of the stolen cash or jewelry has been recovered at this time, and investigations are ongoing. Major fire destroys 2 homes in Berbice, leaving family homeless. A devastating fire on Monday night has left 2 families in Berbice homeless and destroyed their homes. The fire broke out around 6 p.m. at the residence of Sharmila Sitaram, 39, and quickly spread to neighboring properties, resulting in the destruction of a second home and damage to a third. Sharmila, who shared the 2-story house with her niece, nephew, cousin, and baby, recounted the terrifying ordeal. "Me, my mother, my sister, my niece, and my baby were sitting downstairs when we heard people shouting, 'Fire,'" she said. The fire reportedly started in the front room and spread rapidly through the ceiling. Despite attempts to save the house, the fire engulfed the building, leaving the family with nothing but the clothes on their backs. Sharmila attempted to rush back into the house to salvage some belongings but was stopped by bystanders who urged her to prioritize her safety. "The boys told me, 'You go down,' she recalled. By the time the fire service arrived, the house had been completely destroyed, and the flames had spread to neighboring properties. In addition to Sharmila's home, a second house was destroyed, and a third was damaged by the blaze. Fortunately, no injuries have been reported. The Sitaram family is now facing the challenge of rebuilding their lives from scratch. They have received temporary shelter from relatives who have graciously opened their homes to them. Sharmila expressed her gratitude for the support they have received so far, saying, "The next step is to seek a place to stay, but for now, the families told us to stay, and we are welcome." Those wishing to assist Sharmila and her family during this difficult time can contact her directly at 6323383. Investigation into Joshua David's abduction stalled as family marks his birthday. Nearly a month after the abduction of 34-year-old Joshua David outside a Main Street restaurant, investigators are struggling to locate him, despite arresting and charging 7 suspects connected to his disappearance. The case has left the family devastated, as they continue to hold out hope for his return. 2 days ago, Joshua's family observed his birthday in his absence, with the painful reality setting in that he may never return. Law enforcement officials suspect foul play, fearing that David may have been murdered and buried, but a lack of solid evidence has prevented them from confirming their suspicions. Police have conducted extensive searches in various locations, but all efforts so far have proven unsuccessful. Investigators believe that David's kidnapping may have been orchestrated by a mastermind and may be connected to his knowledge of the whereabouts of two individuals wanted for murder. Authorities have indicated that David was familiar with his abductors and had even worked alongside one of them at a previous job. Although the abduction was captured on surveillance cameras, the arrested suspects have remained tight-lipped, refusing to disclose any information regarding David's fate or the identity of the mastermind. While the 7 suspects have been charged, they are currently out on bail as the case proceeds in court. The ongoing silence from those involved has deepened the uncertainty and frustration for both investigators and the family. As the investigation continues, the David family and law enforcement appeal to anyone with information that could help locate Joshua or provide insight into the abduction to come forward. Woman remanded to prison following drug raid in Northwest District. A 49-year-old woman from the Northwest District, NWD, has been remanded to prison after police reportedly discovered drugs and drug paraphernalia during a raid at her home. Jarrett Singh, of Kamaka Stretch, NWD, appeared before Magistrate Judy Lachman at the Mabaruma Magistrates Court on Thursday. While Singh initially pleaded guilty with an explanation, the magistrate entered a not guilty plea on her behalf after hearing her account, and she was subsequently remanded to prison. The case will continue on November 18, 2024. Singh's arrest followed a police operation last Saturday at her residence in Kamaka Stretch, Mabaruma. During the raid, officers allegedly found 2 transparent plastic bags containing cannabis near a kitchen cupboard. Singh reportedly admitted ownership of the drugs, stating, "It's mine. I use it for my illness." A more thorough search of Singh's home revealed several additional suspicious items, including small Ziploc bags, 3 digital scales, a razor blade with traces of a whitish substance suspected to be cocaine, 2 marijuana crushers, and a pack of bamboo rolling papers commonly associated with cannabis use. The items were seized, and Singh was transported to the Mabaruma police station, where the cannabis was weighed and totaled 41 grams. The weight of the suspected cocaine has yet to be confirmed. Singh will remain in custody as her case proceeds, with the next court date set for November 18. Guyana's Attorney General requests U.S. assistance in arrest and prosecution of activist Rickford Burke. News source Guyana reports, the government of Guyana, through Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal, has formally requested assistance from the U.S. Department of Justice in the arrest and prosecution of U.S.-based Guyanese political activist Rickford Burke. Burke is accused of inciting ethnic strife and promoting criminal violence in Guyana through his social media platforms. In a letter dated July 27, 2024, addressed to U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland, Minister Nandlal alleged that Burke has been using his Facebook page to launch frequent attacks against the government of Guyana, with the intent to fuel racial hostilities and encourage violence. Nandlal emphasized that while Guyana's constitution guarantees freedom of expression, it also protects against hate speech that incites public disorder and violence. Burke's actions have caused immeasurable damage to the character and reputation of government officials, public officers, and ordinary citizens, the Attorney General stated. Burke, who has been charged with multiple criminal offenses in Guyana, remains outside the jurisdiction, posing significant legal challenges. Minister Nandlal has therefore requested mutual legal assistance from the U.S. to address the issue and facilitate legal proceedings against Burke. In a separate letter to the U.S. Department of State, Nandlal addressed allegations made by Burke, who claimed that the Guyanese government was harassing him and sent a police officer to his Brooklyn residence to cause him harm. Nandlal dismissed these accusations as false and unfounded and insisted that any legal actions taken against Burke were ordered by the courts and executed by law enforcement in accordance with the law. Burke has also been implicated in a conspiracy to extort businesses in Guyana. According to Nandlal, a sting operation led to the arrest of 2 individuals connected to Burke, one of whom confessed and implicated Burke as the mastermind behind the plot. Despite these charges, Burke has continued to maintain his innocence and denounce the government's actions. In response to the Attorney General's request, Burke labeled the government's attempts to prosecute him as desperate and unlawful. He further stated that he has not been in Guyana for over 20 years and believes the government is trying to frame him for crimes he did not commit. The Attorney General has expressed confidence that a thorough FBI investigation would expose Burke's false claims and that appropriate actions would be taken. This legal request follows a similar complaint lodged by the Guyana Embassy in the U.S. in 2023 against Burke. Convicted Felon Payne faces multiple charges for theft and firearm offense. Payne, a convicted felon, has been brought before Senior Magistrate Fabio Azor at the Georgetown Magistrates Court to face a series of 10 charges related to theft and discharging a loaded firearm. The charges stem from a string of incidents that occurred between May 4, 2024, and October 10, 2024, in West Ruimveldt Road and Mandela Avenue, Georgetown. Payne is accused of stealing items valued at approximately $1,935,000, including several high-end smartphones and personal valuables. Among the stolen items are two iPhone 15 Pro Max devices worth $315,000 and $170,000, an iPhone 15 Pro Titanium valued at $265,000, an iPhone 12 worth $110,000, and two iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max models valued at $200,000 and $205,000, respectively. Payne is also accused of stealing 4 additional cellular phones worth $400,000, a gold chain valued at $140,000, and 4 perfumes totaling $130,000. In addition to the theft charges, Payne has been charged with discharging a loaded firearm at a detective corporal with the intent to cause grievous bodily harm. Despite the severity of the charges, Payne pleaded not guilty to all accusations. He was remanded to prison and is scheduled to return to court on November 18, 2024. This is not Payne's first encounter with the law. In 2018, he was accused of committing 9 armed robberies, discharging a firearm, and escaping police custody. Following a trial in the Georgetown Magistrates Court under Magistrate Annette Singh, Payne was sentenced to 3 years in prison on September 10, 2019. The upcoming trial is expected to draw significant attention due to Payne's criminal history and the serious nature of the current charges.